Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right, so I was looking up some random YouTube reviewers. Guys like Jeremy Johns, who I got to see doing early compared to the rest of us when I think he's a mediocre kind of trash movie reviewer. But whatever. I put him in the class with Chris Stuckmann, but maybe a little bit better. Maybe a little tiny bit. I'm sorry, Jeremy Johns reviewing fucking Madam Web 3 different fucking ways is a problem to me. Like, why are you giving that movie so much attention? But there's actually good movies out there. There are good movies that are in existence, but he spends his time on Founders Day and Madam Web and shit like that. It's like, golly, man, you're a movie reviewer? You get paid to do this for a living. Go watch fucking movies, man. I dare you. Go watch fucking movies, for real. I dare you to, Jeremy Johns. But whatever. Chris Stuckmann, same boat for me. And I saw this, and I typed in Chris Stuckmann's name, and then Madam Web popped up, and also controversy about Chris Stuckmann and Madam Web. So he said, you know what? Let me find out what he says about it. I already watched like a minute of this. Then I'm like, you know what? I need to hit record and get my natural reactions, on recording. So here's Chris Stuckmann. The title of the video is I Have to Talk About This. And Madam Web is, I guess, surrounding the theme of what he's about to say. Here we go. God damn it, I hate myself. You ever just hate yourself? I do. Just a lot of times.
So I just saw Madam Web. There was no screening for it in my area. There were no late night showings before the day, so I had to go see it on Valentine's Day. And I thought to myself, probably not going to do a video for this one based off of what I've heard, since I do try to keep it mostly about film celebration on this channel. Having seen the film, I'm going to tell you that this is not a movie review of Madam Web. I am not about bashing filmmakers, artists. I know how hard it is to make a movie. I do not know how hard it is to make a movie under the studio system. I was able to make an indie film without a giant corporation breathing down my neck, which is not the privilege that S.J. Clarkson had when she directed Madam Web under Sony, which I can only...
That's fair, but if you're going to be a great artist, you're going to take risks, not just in your scripts and your storytelling or the actors you pick, but also in your actual real life. Otherwise, you're not actually saying something outside of your film. If you're some fucking money-hungry fucking creepo making movies, right, and you're just strictly doing it for hedonistic reasons, I have a feeling it's going to show in your film when we start seeing Megan Fox's tits everywhere. No offense to Michael Bay. All right, here we go. Either way, it's like, sorry, it's a rough life. There's weirdos all over the place. Corporate weirdos, non-corporate weirdos. There's weirdos all over the place. You have to learn how to navigate those fools and become an artist where you're giving your true expression of something. If someone says no to that, you say, okay, fine. I'll find a way to get it made. Or maybe it never gets made. That's the sacrifice it takes to be a fucking artist. Otherwise, you're full of shit. You're just another fucking whipping boy for someone else, or whipping girl. Anyways, here we go.
Imagine was monumentally difficult. This is not going to be a video about Madam Web and telling you whether or not you should see Madam Web. There are plenty of people on this platform, as well as a website dedicated to aggregating reviews and giving it a number that's going to inform you of that, and you can choose to listen to those voices if you want. The information is out there. What I am compelled to make a video about is something that I heard pretty much every writer, some directors, and most actors bashing last year, and that is movie studios. But before we go any further, I do want to give a special thank you to the sponsor for this video, BetterHelp.
He's trolling us. He's trolling us. You just pop an ad up right in the middle of whatever. Hey, I'm just going to skip the ad. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to skip the ad. I don't know where it ends. Probably... Nope. First, 10% off. Just type in Chris Stuckmann. You get 10% off. Okay.
I think 245.
Okay. We'll do something like that. Like, hey guys, if you need psychological help, go to Chris Stuckmann and get 10% off for your help for your psychology. Enough said. There we go. Like, that should be all it takes to be like, wait a minute, what? Yeah. But anyways, that's no offense to Chris Stuckman. He's just, let's be real. He's just some guy. He's trying to make some money. He's making advertisement money off of your psychology. Anyways, all right. Here we go. Sorry. My bad. I come from a different background.
And
Forgive
see
me,
if it helps
people.
you. Once again, that link is betterhelp.com/Chris Stuckman. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. In the case of Madam Web, this movie was put out by Sony in
Seamless. Look at that.
association with Marvel.
Beautiful.
Probably not to the level of association that Tom Holland's 3 Spider-Man movies were. This video is inspired by essentially every live-action film that Sony has had some involvement in since Spider-Man 3 in the Spider-Man verse. That being Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Morbius, and Madam Web. Since it got pushed back due to the strikes last year.
I think all those movies suck ass. I'm just saying. All of them suck
They
ass.
do.
That's just my opinion. I'm sure there's fans of those Spider-Man movies. I don't think there has ever been a good Spider-Man movie other than the animated one I saw. Other than that, I think they all kind of suck ass. But, I'm not a comic book guy, and I'm sure there's specifically Spider-Man fans who like that shit. I think you need to upgrade your taste. That's just my opinion. You can kill me for that. It's just my opinion, bro. I think a lot of these comic book movies suck fucking ass. And Spider-Man is especially a suck asser. Anyways, here we go.
None of us got to see what Sony did with Kraven the Hunter, but we will this year, so I can't really comment on whether or not Sony
I don't know who
treated that
that is.
property with respect. And
I'm
of
not a
course, I
comic book
know
fan, forgive me.
that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man films don't necessarily relate to the Sony
thought they
Spider-Man
sucked.
universe that they're trying to set up right now, nor do Andrew Garfield's movies. But this
I
is
thought those
not
sucked
about
ass, too.
that. This is about how Sony treats
The Tobey
their
Maguire ones are
characters
better,
and their
but
properties,
still
and
suck
more
ass to me.
importantly, how they
Made for
treat their
kids.
filmmakers and what exactly is going on, because I have so many questions. When you look at the films I mentioned that Sony has made, there's of course division from people about whether or not all of them are bad or good, and some people like more than others.
Venom
There's
really
plenty of
sucked
people
ass.
who like the first Venom movie, but I think there are more people who are a little disappointed by it, and especially the Let There Be Carnage sequel. But plenty of
I'm not
people enjoy
disappointed. It
Spider-Man
sucks.
3
I didn't
well
expect
enough.
much,
I'm one
and
of
they
them.
gave
There's
me
a lot of
less than
things
I
in
even
Spider-Man 3
expected.
that I have fun with, although it's clearly not as good as 1 or 2. And there are people who enjoyed the
Not
Amazing
saying much.
Spider-Man 1 and 2 quite a bit. But I think that if you were to look at a consensus, the consensus is that the live-action Sony-based Spider-Man universe movies have not exactly all been home runs. I haven't.
They suck. Stop. What's he tiptoeing around for? What is this? Hey, Chris Stuckman, go watch The Godfather, then go watch these. Now what are they rating? Like, maybe they weren't the greatest. Like, do you say that, or do you like these are kind of like not great filmmaking? I will give Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. For me personally, I viewed that as not a bad movie, especially in the context of it being made for kids. Like, okay, I can appreciate this movie. I think there's actual quality to it and an attempt at some sense of maturity. But the rest kind of suck ass to me. I haven't seen the first one of the Miles Morales Spider-Man movies, the animated shit. I've seen all the other ones that he's talking about. Andrew Garfield, the Tobey Maguires. They suck to me, man. Forgive me. I think they're childish and corny. Who's that? Spider-Man? Watching J.K. fucking Simmons, whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah.
Watching Whiplash, fucking,
Elizabeth Banks.
oh yeah, fucking cornball and shit. Trash to me. I was too mature for that. At 5 years old, I'm too mature for that. Like, fuck. But whatever. Do your thing, Chris. There we go.
Universe movies have not exactly all been home runs. I haven't mentioned the animated Spider-Verse films, both of them being terrific. The way I view the 2 Spider-Verse movies is kind of the same way I view The Invisible Man and Split and Get Out and other films that Blumhouse has produced. Because Blumhouse has produced a lot of other
Across the
movies as well.
Spider-Verse is Blumhouse.
But those 3 really do seem like, damn, where'd those come from? Some studios
Exactly.
have really good instincts, and they can pick filmmakers and stories across the board that for the most
Blumhouse
part
is mediocre
are
to me
gonna be
as
at
well.
least
Sorry.
decent. I look at a studio like A24. Pretty
Once
much
again,
most of their movies, if you see a trailer for an A24 film, you can probably bet that it's not going to be terrible, that it's at least going to be decent, and maybe even really good. And I don't feel that way with every single studio. It's like a flip of a coin. You could get one of their best efforts, or you could get another one. And I do think it comes down to the filmmaker they're working with and whether or not they back off and give that filmmaker the freedom they need to tell a cohesive, coherent story. That doesn't mean that every writer is going to be great. Two of the writers of Madam Web worked on another film in the Sony universe that has been heavily criticized called Morbius. But sometimes
stop call that. This dude, you have an authentic bone. Like, say the real shit, bro. Morbius was terrible. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. One of the worst I've ever seen. From editing to, it's like the whole spectrum of it. Like, actually. Like, Jared Leto's never gonna, like, just, like, he actually is. He's gonna suck ass in certain movies. But, where was I gonna go with that?
He's going to be more confident. It's not all his fault, I think.
Exactly. Like, it's not like he gave, like, he's fucking just drooling on camera, like, what's my line again? Like, he didn't do anything, like, it was so egregious to where it took, like, but that movie itself was god-awful. Golly, some of the cuts are fucking just destructive. It looked like the Elvis movie that apparently was like, Oscar nominated. That shitty fucking, I think I was seizing, like, a quarter into the Elvis movie. I'm like, what is these cuts, bro? Why are you, like, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, fucking cuts. I'm like, god dang. To be fair, I haven't seen the entire thing of the Elvis movies, but I saw all of Morpheus, and fuck, it sucked. Including the Daemon Targaryen dance scene. Good god, they put that in a movie. But anyways, sorry. Here we go. So we need him to take the fucking the filter off. Chris Stuckmann, take your filter off. Like, oh, some people didn't like this. Admit it, the movie fucking sucked. Like, Jesus. But here we go.
times, what I've learned and what I've experienced myself, not on my film, but on scripts that I've optioned to some studios, and it went nowhere, is that when people have power over you as a creative, when they're paying your bills and they're paying you well, they can tell you to do anything and you have to do it.
That is not fucking true. Who told him that? Oh, go ahead, Anthony. I'm gonna freak out. Go ahead.
You get fired, bro. You have the choice to do what you want.
That's unbelievable. He's explaining why movies suck and that he's okay to be a part of it. Oh,
he's explaining how fecal the mind is.
Like, oh god. Oh, like I this is not to take away from like someone like working hard at a script or having a vision for something, and they present it like, oh shit, you know, Sony's looking at picking this fucking thing up. Holy shit. And then you get to the negotiation table, and they're like, well, you got to get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, and add this, add this, add this, add this. And I understand guys that are in that position to where it's like, oh, fuck, my vision is now gone. But maybe I can get a paycheck and make a good movie later down the line. Or, you know, fuck it, I got bills to pay, I'll take the fucking check now, and I'll gut my fucking movie to pieces. I understand. I'm not lacking empathy in regards to this. But is it an artist at that point? Like, you have now relinquished the title of artist from anything you're doing in regards to that particular project, if you allow that shit to happen. You are no longer artist. You are concubine. You are, what's the word? You stick...
Neutered. You're neutered.
Say that again?
You're neutered as an artist.
You're neutered. You're a fucking, what do they call them? Coyotes? Fucking, you're sticking cocaine up your ass and taking it across the border, bro. You're a mule.
Yeah, you're a mule.
At that point, that's what you are now. Don't call yourself an artist and be like, how dare you criticize my art? Like, it's not your art anymore. It's gone. It's not even art, because art's supposed to come from expression. From honest expression. That's the only place art could ever live. Otherwise, it's a commodity that some company's gonna fucking sell. So, as much as I have empathy for art, for people who are just trying to get by, trying to make money, like try to make it, like my dream is to become a writer, and you know what? I'll sell out for this first project in order to make better projects later down the line. It usually doesn't work out that way. Usually you get a bad rap, and people are like, "Who wrote it? That guy? Fuck this." And I'm not even saying fans. I'm saying the people who fans watch, which is content creators like Chris fucking Stuckman, or Nerdrotic, or Critical Drinker, or Jeremy Johns, who watch these fucking content creators who are quote unquote critics. They're not really critics in my opinion, but we'll call them critics for now. People will go to them and they'll be like, "Well, I heard Jody's Corner does. I heard Chris Terrio wrote this. Do you know what else Chris Terrio did? He did Batman vs Superman. He did the Last Jedi. He did the Last Jedi. He did the Rise of Skywalker. Like this is this guy." Even though the fans may not know writers by name like that, they will fucking find out from their favorite content creators like you motherfuckers. Granted, I know Chris Stuckman will hide shit like that. Let's be real. And for God's sakes, I hope it's sympathetic to where he's like, well, I don't want the writers and directors to get bashed for this. I hope at the very least he's just being a nice guy. But guess what? You covering for them, like them covering for studios, it hurts them and it hurts you. You are playing such a major role in the problem with one of my favorite fucking mediums on earth, which is film and television, bro. You're playing such a fucking hurtful role in that.
And you're working.
God damn, bro.
You're working against a goal you claim to want to achieve, which is better art.
Yeah, look, how you expect things to get better if these things are forgivable like that? Like I forgive too. I empathetically forgive of someone like with a studio, hounding down the back of their necks. I understand, but at the same time, I will relinquish the title of art at that point and call it a commodity. It is a toy, and Toys R Us to be fucking sold somewhere. And like, if you don't recognize that, if you don't let that be the case, like understand it as that, then guess what? You're fucking holding fans hostage. Golly, man. You're not really, but you know what I mean. In a way, you're holding them hostage. Because they go to you guys to fucking figure out what movies to fucking watch. Do you not get that?
Chain reaction.
You don't see your channel gets 1 million fucking views and other channels get fucking 20? How do you not see that? Fucking Christ, man. These guys kill fucking art, man. To be honest with you, guys like Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Johns, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, they're not in it for art. They're in it for fucking, like, entertain me.
Fame and fortune.
Entertain me. Turn me on. Fucking roll out the red carpet and let me glide across it. Bullshit.
Remember when he said Top Gun was one of the best movies of 2020?
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, bro.
And he's not a culture warrior. That's the funny part.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I appreciated Top Gun for what they did. What they did was they made it look like it was from the era of where the movie came out, right? The original movie of Top Gun. They made the movie feel like it's from that era. I appreciate that. But is it the fucking creme de la creme of fucking movies? No. But people built it up that way because they're used to garbage and dog shit. And these guys give a pass to so many fucking things that looks like fucking, what do they call it? Caviar. Yeah. Golly, man. God damn, bro. It's so infuriating. It's so fucking infuriating. If you're a fan of film and TV like I am, this shit's infuriating. It really is. But here we go. Let's let them talk more. God damn it.
No matter what. It's like that
Cringy.
scene in Vampire's Kiss where Nicolas Cage is threatening to fire his secretary and he says,
"You're the lowest on the totem pole here, Alva. The lowest. Do you realize that?" "That's right, Alva. It's a horrible, horrible job. I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to. And you have to do it.
Never seen this movie, so.
Or I'll fire you. Do you understand?"
Sometimes that's exactly what it feels like when you're a creative dealing with a larger entity that has control
Until you're big dick Charlie Kaufman walking around like, well, I made this. It's like, well, Mr. Kaufman, you can't do... Yeah, I can. I'm Charlie Kaufman. No, Mr. Nolan, you can't do this. Well, I'll just go to Universal. What? No, please come back, Mr. Nolan. Please come back. Sorry, you have to. Like, the risk has to be taken. As much as I understand them trying to like feed themselves, like, fuck, man, it's rough. I'm not gonna pretend that it's not rough, but goddamn. All right, sorry guys for pausing. Here we go.
For your creation, or at
Holy
least your
shit.
script or your story or your characters. When they can tell you what to do and you got to do it, it doesn't matter
have
if you
to.
think it's insane. You have to find a way to make it work.
My life.
Now, I'm not saying that's what happened on Madam Web and Morbius and all these movies, but I would not be surprised. Because when I look at Sony's involvement with the Spider-Verse films, I see
It sounds like you got
Lauren
insider
Miller that
insider
have had
information or
massive
something.
success on the big screen in the past that have made a lot of money for a lot of people and have proven themselves to be very smart at what they do. And I can totally see a company like Sony saying, why don't you guys give us your best shot and then we'll give you some notes. Now, for a filmmaker like S.J. Clarkson, who made Madam Web, she's had a long and respectable career directing television, but she's directing her first movie and it's a Sony superhero movie. When I saw Madam Web earlier today, there wasn't a single part of me that thought, wow, this is just a terrible filmmaker. I could not help but see the myriad of evidence that has been laid at all of our feet that this is a studio that is simply retaining the rights to their characters, that does not care about the quality of this experience they're giving us.
He better explain the shit out of that because of the movie I fucking saw. Like, where, Chris Stuckmann? Yes, she can hold a camera, and yes, she can cut certain angles. Like, that's wonderful. But where's the artist? They have to prove themselves. If you're telling me the studio's got it this much or that much, you better have insider information or be just fucking god tier of keen-eyedness. Like, I can see exactly what happened here, but the cuts got disappeared over there. Here's all the stuff on the cutting room fucking floor over here. You better have fucking eyes and ears for that shit, bro. I keep ranting, but it's like, it's so infuriating. Like, what are you telling me right now? Like you better pull some fucking evidence out of your fucking asshole right now. Here we go.
There's been too many
Golly,
examples
man,
of
I'm a
movies that
fucking
all
idiot.
feel kind of the same. Like a mishmashed early 2000s superhero.
I say that with
movie.
love.
They
Fucking
can't
idiot.
seem to get out of that. No matter how many times we've said to this studio, we would prefer it if you went a different way, even with the excellent examples of their two Spider-Verse films. And I can't help but think, who is this for? Who wins here? Is it the audience? It seems like it isn't, guys. Is it the creatives? Definitely not. Is it the studio? Are they making a lot of money because they keep doing this over and over again? Sometimes. It makes sense to make a Venom movie. It makes sense to make a Spider-Man movie. Those are characters that are going to generate money no matter what. Morbius and Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter remains to be seen. That is not the same level of reward that a studio might receive from producing a Spider-Man or a Venom movie. So why are they making them? Is it to retain the rights? Is it to get some kind of financial break? Potentially. And in that case, they probably don't care that much about each and every one of us who forks over our hard-earned money to sit in a theater on Valentine's Day when they could have been doing anything else. I
wonder if they're just laundering money. Who brought that idea up? I think it was Ghost. Like, oh yeah, to make shitty movies or shitty art in order to launder money through them. Or if someone's got like a cocaine habit or something, just laundering money through it. That'd be hilarious. But yeah. Sorry, here we go.
care so much about the filmmaker experience, and I am so aware of how crushingly difficult it can be to make a film, but I also care a lot about the audience, and I want people like myself who go to these movies to have a good time and to feel like they invested some of their money into something that gave something back to them, that inspired them in some way, or made them just happy for a couple hours. And Sony and their treatment of these characters seems to be doing the exact opposite. Currently in the industry, it's the Wild West.
Oh, maybe
when it
they're
comes to
experimenting.
Spec scripts, especially. From what I understand, a lot of spec scripts are not even being read, very rarely, in fact, unless you're a very specific kind of movie or a studio is looking for something so particular that you just so happen to be that perfect thing. From what I understand, lower budget horror is still being looked at, especially haunted house things or things that are very marketable. But in general, the industry has no idea what it's doing right now post strikes. They have no clue. Movies are selling for almost $20 million at festivals from first-time filmmakers, and other movies that seem like they should be selling really big because of the names that are attached aren't. Nobody knows exactly what's happening right now because everyone is so beholden to this algorithm or whatever Netflix is telling them people want to see. This is creating an
Maybe creative, interesting, risk-taking people are being siphoned off for the sake of people we don't have to pay as much to get the same result. Right? He talked about money being made. He's like, oh well, these legacy characters like Spider-Man or Venom, right? Where Venom was a dog shit pile of a movie, but made a shit ton of money overseas, right? It's like, well,
Yeah.
maybe we can take Madam Web and do something like that. Something like make some money off of this thing while paying the artist cheaply, because guess what? It doesn't matter what your fucking name is. It's all about the product being put out. Now, why does that seem like something in my mind where I'm like, huh? I put my hands on my fucking forehead and go, huh? Let me look at this. Well, when I look at your channel, Chris Stuckmann, or Jeremy Johns, or Nerdrotic, or Critical Drinker, the movies you guys actually go over are these dog shit fucking movies, bro. Over and over and fucking over again, bro. Where's the quality? What quality do you go over? Your guys' top 5 movies include Jurassic Park. It's a fucking embarrassment. No offense to Jurassic Park fans. I'm just saying, though. Like, are you sure you guys would be able to put out the best movies? If we made you the studio heads, are you sure you'd be able to fucking find the best movies and put them out? Are you sure about that? Holy fuck, man. I'm kind of going off. I'm going off the reservation here, but these guys frustrate me so fucking much, man. And I love film and TV and writing and art and symbolism and metaphors and subtext and deeper subtext and tales about the human experience and all that shit. I actually care about that shit. I love that shit. I live for that shit. Me in this Discord and the people who have been in this Discord, we watch shit anyways. Forget about the YouTube channel. We've been watching shit for fucking years, man. Watching fucking movies and TV and content and commentators and movie reviewers, and we've been watching all this shit the entire time. We're just now hitting record, basically. And it's like, it's because of I care for it, bro. If I got banned from YouTube, I'd still be watching all these movies and TV and the reviewers and all this shit, man. Are these guys like that? They get paid for that. I don't get paid for any of this shit. Do these guys get paid for that? Of course they do. They get paid pretty handsomely relative to normal Americans or normal people. And, like, they're still missing out on so much content. Why don't you boost... fuck. Never mind. Here we go. Here's more of this guy.
Almost robotic, like dystopian conveyor belt of movies.
Let the movie,
that we are
let the video
essentially
play.
supposed to kneel at the
I got
very
something to
end
fucking
of,
say,
open
bro.
our mouth really wide and just consume,
Dipshits.
and then ask, when do we get the next conveyor belt thing that you have generated for us from your algorithm robotic AI thing, whatever that is.
Didn't I make an animation?
Because when I watched Madam Web, there wasn't a single part of me that
Didn't
thought
I make an
a writer
Whatever.
sat down and came up with the idea of the final fight happening underneath a giant neon Pepsi Cola sign. I just don't think a writer sat in their apartment in LA and thought, that's a good idea. I'm pretty sure Sony said, we have to incorporate Pepsi in some way. Deal with it. And that's what...
Okay, but product placement has been around for a while now, Chris Stuckmann. Why does it harm certain movies but not harm others? Why is that? Hey, Anthony, you saw Die Hard 3, right?
Yeah.
Aren't they going all over New York City, all these different fucking points of interest of New York City with advertisements out the fucking ass all over the fucking place, right?
They went to Yankee Stadium.
They went to Yankee Stadium. Did that hurt the fucking movie?
No.
Not to me. Not to me at all. So why would a Pepsi logo, like, there's some sort of thing happening here where it's like you need to be able to, like, notice because someone could be like a studio head could be breathing down the neck of one of these creators, writers, directors, whatever the fuck, right? To be like, hey man, just put a Pepsi logo in there. It is not forgiving the studios at all. By the way, what I'm saying, I'm just saying like they'll be like, we need you to put some Pepsi logos in here. Make sure the labels pointing towards the camera when the character sips the soda, right? Make sure that happens. What does that have to do with? Would that harm anyone in regards to someone directing
That has
and writing something?
nothing to do. That has nothing to do with you making a quality storyline involving a
Exactly.
Pepsi logo.
Exactly. Granted, I fucking hate product. I don't like product placement at all. I don't like it when it's canned and on purpose like that. Nobody.
Bruce Wayne crashed a Lamborghini into a car, into a fucking incoming kidnapper or whatever to stop a murder
Yeah,
to
yeah.
protect Batman's. It's like that's product placement. You don't even think twice about the Lamborghini.
Exactly. Granted, yeah, yeah. I would call that product. It's a little rough. It's not really an advertisement for
It's not an
Lamborghini.
advertisement, but you know what kind of car it is. They showed him in the car
Yes.
earlier in the movie.
It's a point to say wealth and
Yeah,
sophistication, right? And Lamborghini is now like a face of would in that movie, Lamborghini's now like a face of that of being like rich and
yeah.
extravagant. So yes, that in a way, yes, that I would call that product placement, 100%. So, but how does that stop you from being creative with what's given to you as
It
far
does
as,
not.
as an
It,
artist? Like, come on.
it does not take away from your ability to make a good story.
There are great independent creators who have not gotten a fucking barely a fuck relatively speaking, barely a fucking cent in regards to creating a film. If they got Madam Web's fucking they'd be like, well, if I'm gonna do Madam Web, I'll do this, this, this. They'll do a whole fucking feng shui, moving the fucking furniture around to create a room that they fit in. And they were like, but no, you need to take your couch out and put a giant Pepsi stand instead there. They'd be like, fuck you. They'd be like, fuck you, I'm not doing this. Like a real artist. But if you said, "Hey, man, but put this Pepsi can in the background of your, like right behind your couch, like in the background," like maybe I can do that. There'd be a little bit more negotiation room. Granted, I hate product placement, and I agreed partially with Chris Stuckmann about product placement and then all that shit. But did they say
He's
like the characters
he's
have to
using it
behave a
as a
certain way?
Trojan horse. He's using it as a Trojan horse.
It's I I would not be able to believe if a real artist sitting in front of a studio head and the studio head saying, "Well, this scene where you wrote this emotional scene where the girl's crying because maybe her parents died or something like that. Yeah, I need you to replace her parents with a Pepsi logo." And could you imagine? Like, doesn't make sense. Like, can you imagine
No.
some shit like that? Actually, her parents were Pepsi representatives, and they were killed by Nazis. And we all hate Nazis, right? So put that in your movie. I'm sorry. This movie's about the future. It's a post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, yeah, but add Nazis in order for them to really hate Pepsi to show how good Pepsi is. Like that'd be crazy, right? And if you're an artist and you agree to that, you took your artist card, took it out, ripped it into pieces, and handed it over to the fucking studio. Sorry.
So what you're trying to say, you're trying to deconstruct his initial premise that you would be an artist if you did play by the rules these studios give out.
Well, how far do the studios actually go? Because some of it will
Yeah,
sound unrealistic, like what he just said about product placement. Product placement has been around forever as far as mainstream movies, right? Companies want their fucking advertisements in there in one form or another, right? That's okay.
yeah,
I understand that happens, and I don't like it. But at the same time, when has it been something where Pepsi has control over your script,
yeah.
over your directing? Only maybe portions of your directing of like we need to see the Pepsi logo at this angle. But are they like, hey, Janice must say 20 fucking lines in the entire movie about how much she loves fucking Pepsi? Do fucking companies have that much power in your movies? No fucking way. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. Maybe that's a thing, but I just doubt that so much. And if someone's willing to go along with that, they relinquish that artist card
Yeah,
immediately.
they relinquish.
That's why it's unrealistic to me. Like I just don't. I don't.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What I'm getting to is going off your point. How serious are they of an artist? How serious is this guy to say that to continue to exist in the same realm where they're gonna keep making movies and he's gonna act like they didn't do this movie?
He's full blown caping. Let's be honest about this. He's full blown caping for maybe because he sees himself in their shoes in a way or something like that. Maybe that's why he's like caping for them so hard. But
But
come
let's
on,
be
man.
honest, bro. Let's be honest, bro. This guy gets early access to things.
Dune 2 review by Chris Stuckmann and Jeremy Johns. Check it out. It's already out already. Like a couple weeks before we get to see it, it's already out. But yes,
Yeah.
he gets early access.
It's like it's not like explicitly like implied, but if you a blind man could see that there is a certain relationship he has with these studios. Tangentially, third what's the word? Third what? Like third source or whatever. Third party.
Yes, but what he's saying here, Anthony, is that an actual threat to these studios? Because he's doing this thing where it's like, well, forget about the studio. Like the studios do this and they force you to do that, but the artists themselves we need to care about and like. Thus, I will never crap on a movie because these artists do all this work. But at the same time, he's saying it's controlled by studios. So do you see the fucking
Yes.
the
No, I
mental
see.
like
He makes a parameter where he can be not self-reflective, critical.
it's nonsensical. Like that
It's
means I don't
nonsensical
understand.
because he can he can work outside the parameters he's agreed upon, whether it's like subconsciously or not, or it's explicitly told to him. There's some parameters he can't, like, he will not on an opening week shit on a movie outwardly.
I will say this, Anthony. Either it's that to where it's like you get the Derek Jeter fucking
Yeah,
you know af-
political.
day after gift basket, right? No, I'm saying like the when Derek Jeter like
Yeah,
bakes some chick
yeah.
and give her a gift basket. Like okay,
So you're out of here.
you're either
Yeah,
getting the
you're
gift
right.
basket or you're shooting yourself in the foot by propping up these movies that you're saying are being basically created by the studios and the actual artists that are making these movies aren't actually being able to make their movies. So
I mean,
so
well,
then why are you supporting them? Why won't you say a bad thing about them then?
well,
It's nonsensical. It's brain breaking.
well, what I'm saying is he like you kind of laid it out where he's sympathetic slash not only does he see himself in that scenario, he is in that scenario to an extent. He is in that scenario where he has to play by certain rules, just like they do, and it feeds into the psyche of how he goes about reviewing. Like you said, these guys review for a living, and they don't review everything. They review certain movies that, let's be honest, everyone else reviewed at the same time. Yet there's all these movies that are kind of gems that no one reviews.
Yeah,
And like, think about it. When he put out his 10 best, he did not put a review out for all those 10 best.
exactly.
Meaning he's watching shit probably a lot, and he's not putting it out. Why is that? Why does he choose? And then it makes you think. Why does he choose the ones he does to put out? And what
True.
does that have to do with? Because let's be honest, there's a certain. Because I watch these other channels, there's a certain vibe where like all these guys are reviewing these certain, and then somewhere down the line, there's a premiere, and they get the early fucking access. They get their early. Yeah, like the early look to, oh look, come look at this movie. They want you to look at the movie. Why do they want you to? Wouldn't you think, like, why would they want me to look at the movie? Besides that, it's not just as simple as, well, I got a big following. Like, what came first, the big following, or your dick riding to beget the big following?
It's almost antithesis to fucking react to reviewing something because you can't actually review it. Because let's say they were like real about it, like really like I really say my actual opinion. They really actually can't be. Like they wouldn't be allowed to because of, hey, the embargo on this movie is not out. Like you can't do it because this movie's not
Yeah, you
released
have to
yet.
give a fucking non-spoiler trash ass. You're
Exactly. A
saying nothing,
non-review.
and you're getting a million views on a movie you said nothing about.
Exactly.
I love this guy's performance. I love that girl's performance. Oh, she was wonderful. The score was amazing. Nothing is being said though about the film.
I think he's seeing the heat on his neck and he's starting to spill a little bit about it, of why people are like, Chris Stuckman's kind of whack. I think he saw these things and now he's reacting to it. That's my guess.
Maybe.
That could be. That's my guess because what he's saying is absolutely nonsensical. And you know what? Like I said, like you were saying, maybe he is beholden to these studios to where he can't say certain things about the movie, about like he can't say certain negative things because maybe he won't be invited to the next fucking review if he says something crazy, right? Or like if that's like either way, you're shooting yourself in the foot, in my opinion. The way he's
Well,
going.
what I'll say is, we don't like Nerdrotic, but Nerdrotic is to an extent, because he is following like a fucking formula that works for him, and it's super popular. There is a certain level of what's the word, um not exuberance, but like a certain level of like, he'll go outside the box where this guy is like fucking, he's worse than Derek Jeter. He's like Mark Zuckerberg almost. Like, you live your life like a robot, bro. Like, what the fuck is your personality?
I 100% understand what you're saying. I still think this dude, the nerd drag dude, just capitulates to his fucking audience, to the audience and what they want to hear, and the culture warrior bullshit.
It
But
ends
on the
up being the same
surface,
thing.
it looks
Yeah,
like
on the
he's
surface,
being
it looks.
brave
I
or some
wasn't
shit.
even trying to say that. I'm not even saying he's brave. I'm just saying, when you see him and you see this guy, they just don't act the same way. This guy acts like
Yeah.
he's doing a fucking TV show, and he's playing Chris Stuckman on TV.
Maybe he's that nice. Maybe he's that nice of a guy, and he just thinks about it that
Maybe,
way. I hope so.
maybe he's a little socially awkward too. I don't know.
But just like the quote unquote artists, the writers and directors who make these movies, as much as I want to say something nice back, I can't. I'd be like, dude, you're not meant for this then. If you can't stand behind your fucking creativity and you end up sacrificing all of it to a fucking studio head, get the fuck out of
And
here.
that's another good point. That's another good point. He said it. What did he say at the beginning of this video? That I'm all about like highlighting film or something, or highlighting
Yes.
filmmakers,
Yes. Yeah, he said
to
something like
where
that.
it's like, and then there's the conundrum you're bringing up is key to this whole thing. What constitutes a filmmaker? Do you lose the filmmaker card when you fucking capitulate to Sony or some shit like that? You capitulate to Disney, like, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's, I don't know. It's like, it makes sense in the realm of, we could watch the same movie and come out with different perspectives. Where this guy's like he's gonna yuck it up. He's gonna say some bullshit that's like, oh, this, and I'm like, yo, this is trash. But this guy's dick riding it, because his bar, it's not even that his bar's lower. His bar's in another planet. That's how I feel sometimes when I hear this guy talk. And it's not just him. You're neurotic. When neurotic's like reviewing the Joker, it's like I don't get it. What'd you see that I didn't see?
Don't you get it? The Antifa or whatever.
Reacher is even worse.
Yeah.
Reacher's even worse. But with this guy, it's more like it's in my face. Like you're a little weasel ass line motherfucker, bro. Like what is this shit you're talking?
Listen
You're
to
trying
what
to
he
spin on
just
me
said, bro. He just said, support the artists that made the movie, but the movie's made
at
by
all
the but the
costs.
movie's made hold on. Support the artists that made the movie, but the movie's actually made by the studio. And
Yeah, made by
then
the
support
studio.
them. Like what? You should be crying about like, yo, another studio flop. He should be saying that shit then. Shouldn't he? In every fucking movie review? Like,
Yeah.
yo, the studio
No,
stole this
he's
movie and made it shit. He should be doing that in every fucking movie review
no,
he does
he's
then.
being like he's crying tears for someone that knowingly decided to do something that could derail their fucking ability to make a film for a paycheck.
He's crying about their pockets. Like
Yeah,
these guys should get paid, man. I'm like, you know what? Well, maybe not for like it depends. It, that like
if you're worth it.
I wouldn't even like once again if you don't get past if your creative vision gets fucking nuked by a studio, why are you there anyways? And I know that's a harsh statement to say because of these guys are trying to feed themselves, right? They're starving artists type shit. Maybe that's the case. Maybe. So it's like I understand, but at the same time, it's like don't fucking call it art and don't call yourself a fucking artist if you're willing to do that, bro.
It's like
Step
yeah,
aside for people who will not fucking do that, please.
it's like you get pinned down into bad decisions, and the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and the studio's leaning in on you like hey, we could take it
It's
off,
yeah,
give you this nice house and paycheck. All you got to do is clean our mess.
yeah. Shoot the Pepsi logo at 80 different angles instead of what you were originally going to do. Like, come on.
And then so
You think
it's
that's
like,
happening
and then it's
day
like,
one of
sorry,
shooting?
it's like by definition, if you were to talk to the people that made that film, if you they but somewhere down in deep inside, they'd be like, yeah, like you shouldn't feel sorry for me. I knew what I was doing. They might even joke about it if it's in private rooms. Like, hey man, what are you gonna do?
Homeboys pretending like they shot the whole movie right. Like, okay, our movie's finished. Here it is. They showed to the studio heads like, there's not enough Pepsi here. Go do reshoots. Like, no,
Which is what
That
happened.
happens in
What?
some
Yeah,
cases. In some cases, that
it
happens.
happened to that dipshit Josh Trank, right, with the final Fantastic Four.
I don't even know. I don't even know about that. But I can see that
The
happening.
fantastic, yeah, he went for like a dark tone or whatever. I think is that Sony too or Marvel? That's Marvel, right?
When Fantastic Four was
Fantastic
coming out,
Four.
that was Fox. When they were like back in the day, that's Fox. It's
This was
Fox
2014.
2014. I think it was still Fox. And
Fox
then they sold their shit to Disney.
Century 20. Okay, so
20th Century
anyways,
Fox. Yeah.
point is he made the film, and then the studio was like, "Yo, we don't like how you made this film. Like this, like he's like this film's not for kids. Basically, that's what they told him."
But that'd be
And then
crazy to happen. That'd be such an anomaly. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, yeah, I understand that. You usually like,
It's
well,
pre-planned usually.
he he got fuck, what's that movie? He got like he got carte blanche. Make your film. He did Chronicle. He did Chronicle.
Okay. The
So
superhero film
yeah,
kinda.
but they were like, so I was listening to what is it, Red Letter Media. They reviewed that shit. He basically had no real not that it's a necessity necessarily, but it helps. He had no real like experience making films,
Okay.
and they gave him carte blanche over the property. Like, yo, do what you do with your vision, what you think. They trusted him,
Okay.
and and in their eyes he fucked it up, and then he didn't want to fix it, and they replaced him and brought someone else in to do reshoots,
Okay.
and it was
That's a
and this
different
movie was
case. Okay.
the movie was a fucking mess.
Okay. That's different than what I was saying, but I
No.
get why
But
you brought that up.
I think what you're trying to say is usually there is no like there is no collaboration. It's an acquiescence by the quote unquote artist or the studio. Like, you're gonna do this, and this. Maybe you have a certain outline, and we could work with you on it. You're gonna do what we tell you to.
What I'm saying is that Pepsi logo that Chris Stuckman showed was on the storyboard. It's so early in the movie process. It's there like it was written by the writers themselves. Like it was already there.
Yeah.
It's not a we watched your movie and then you didn't put this Pepsi sign there. We need to reshoot this whole scene and put like that can happen though. Not saying that can't happen or doesn't happen. I'm just saying like that shit what we saw in the movie where it's like perfectly camera angled towards a Pepsi logo scene or sign or whatever. It's like that is pre-planned. That is in the storyboards. They drew it out. They wrote it out. All of that. That means they had a long period of time for them to question their own conscience and be like, "Wait a minute, am I sacrificing, artistic, authenticity for the sake of pleasing studio heads?"
Yes.
Which means it just brings up a lot of questions. Once again, I understand. They're trying to make some money for themselves and establish themselves as like next time, Hollywood Reporter comes out. Hey, the writer of, Madam Web is making a new movie called blah, 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 where it's actually their own project. Like, okay, I understand why people do that, but is it forgivable in an artistic sense? No! It never will be. There's people who sacrifice so much to make their fucking art. You telling me we get to walk over them and call these fools fucking artists now? Bullshit, Chris Stuckman. I understand you want them to make their money because you see that maybe they had a vision that got taken away from them.
And it's the saddest part is it's like you're contributing to the mediocrity you don't want to see.
Exactly. But he does. Do we know that from Stuckman, Anthony? Do we know that?
Huh?
Do we know that he's fighting against mediocrity in film? Do we know that from this guy?
We don't even know that.
We
no,
don't.
We don't.
Exactly. So it was like he's kind of standing behind it. Like, God,
Yes.
it's so fucking frustrating, man. Get this fucking fool out of here, man.
Well, if you were to talk to a fan, they'd be like, no, he's. And if you were to talk, let's say you found Chris Stuckman, he lives in Ohio. You found him somewhere in Ohio. And you were like, listen, man, are you trying to stop the mediocrity in film? Or are you a part of it? And he'd probably be like, no, I'm trying to stop it.
I'm here to support the artist.
Yeah. You can't have it both ways. You can't. First of all, tell me what an artist is.
And I don't see him doing that.
Yeah, and then secondly, it's like I don't know. You can't have like a one size fits all approach to everything. Where it's like, no, the artist is always. You should always support the direction the artist takes. When you can't even really differentiate between an artist and someone doing something for a paycheck.
Exactly. That's the wreckage on its own. And I'll keep playing it after this. This is the wreckage on its own. It's you support the artist, but the artists are being fucking their vision's being subversed by fucking studio heads. But then you end up supporting the movie for the sake of the artist, even though it's the studio heads actually making the movie.
Yeah, and then you're getting mad that the studio is meddling.
You end up just boosting the studios, and we don't. How many times do we hear like, "Hey, the wonderful, John Smith who wrote this movie"? Do we hear that from Stuckman like that? Maybe he says it. Maybe he says it in words.
Sometimes.
But is that what we walk away from? Is that when you walk away from his review? Do you be like, "Man, I can't wait to see what else this guy writes"?
No.
Or do you end up like fucking their names over? Actually, like, yo, this movie sucked ass, but Chris Stuckman's telling me it's good, and he says like, wait a minute, this guy wrote it. I'm saying the fuck away from this guy. Like he's Chris Terrio. I'm saying the fuck away from Chris Terrio. Like that type of shit starts happening. Like, God dang, bro. Like, how do you not see you wrecking yourself? If he's actually about in the film and artistry.
Well,
like
and actually, like he doesn't call balls or strikes because you can be Michael Bay. He will not shit on you. You can be anybody, Jordan Peele, anybody. He will not.
There's no
shit on you. He will treat you like you are fucking Christopher Nolan. To an extent, he'll dick ride Christopher Nolan a little more.
Yeah.
But it comes out to be the same when he's not going to critique you or your prior work or like say that you're at this caliber or you're at that caliber. Like he will in ways where it's going to sound nice.
I'm sorry to keep going on this, but you just made a fucking perfect fucking point. What if there's a writer/director or a team of people or whatever that are all in with the studios. They're like, yo, we are for we are all for it. We are actually creating this thing to make it some sort of marketing fucking mass Mountain Dew
There's a lot
fucking
of those fucking guys too.
exactly. Now what do you say? Do you say support the artist then, Chris Stuckman? Because they exist. They exist. Those guys who do things for that exist. Are you going to say support the artist there? Or are you going to be like, yo, that's just some studio fucking clown? He doesn't do that, though, does he?
No,
Does he? No, he doesn't.
He doesn't differentiate.
So it's like he lost me on that already. Like,
There is no bad version of an artist to this guy.
it's like, my God, you could be fucking walking in with was it Idiocracy with a Mountain Dew tearaway fucking jersey and shit. Like, that guy will be like, it's an art. He wrote and directed it. It's like, well, this guy could be full of shit, just doing shit to make money. He's not an artist. He doesn't have a vision. He's just here to make money. How can we make money? How can we market? Hey, can Megan Fox show her tits more? Does he call that guy like, well, we got to support the artist? I will never talk bad about an artist. Like, are they artists? Are they filmmakers? Or are they are they fucking what's the word? Are they overrated commercials?
Yeah.
Over exaggerated commercials. How come you're not fucking giving them the fucking business, Chris Stuckman? They exist. We've seen them. We've seen these movies, bro. Your fans who watch your fucking videos have seen these movies, and you're lying to their faces that's not the fucking case. Like, it is the case, man. These guys are like, come on, bro.
I wonder what this guy said about Knives Out.
Oh man, I understood Knives Out is what it was. Side note, it's Clue. It's modern Clue, but not as good.
My point is, that's someone that's failed, and they keep giving chances. And will Chris Stuckman tell you that? No.
Shit. Ryan Johnson got invited. They like mentioned like Illuminati shit. Like Ryan Johnson went to one of those parties, and he kept the secret, so now he's allowed to keep making movies and shit.
Yeah, he kept the secret. Yeah.
Even at the party, people like the random like prostitutes didn't want to sleep with him. They're like, "Bro, you made The Last Jedi? Fuck, ew." Anyways, they keep moving on. He's like, "Fuck."
Yeah. You stood tall, Ryan. Stood tall.
All right, let's finish this shit up. I could rant forever about this, but there we go.
What it's like for a lot of these creatives. I just heard a story today about someone who's working with a massive entity studio. I won't say what it is. Who has hired?
You might know these people personally.
To write a story based off of a very interesting hook. He wrote the whole script, came back to them, and they said, "You know what? We don't really like that hook anymore, but we still like your story. Can you make it work without the hook?" And this poor writer is trying to figure out how in the world they got hired to write a story based off of an idea and are now told to write the exact same story, but without the idea. And that's exactly the type of situation that so many writers find themselves in. And I would not be surprised.
Why would they say? I hope they say no to it. Then
had very similar conversations bouncing around their meetings. It's maddening.
Well, God, I hope that guy said no. Because guess what? The things you do now, Chris Stuckman, are contributing to why that guy can't get a job on his own as like the man.
Yes.
Like, holy, how does he not see that? Oh no, I'm just supporting the artist. You're supporting the artist for Indiana Jones 8? That sucked ass?
He's actually supporting the studio.
He is. By proxy, bro. He's
every studio that comes out with this dog shit product that he only in majority only reviews the dog shit product.
Exactly, bro.
Those fucking indie films, good luck getting noticed from this fucker.
They're out there too. We've seen them. There's some really good movies I watched recently. Within the last like 3 to 4 months, there's some good movies. I'm like, wow, I'm on a roll with good movies. Guess what?
This shit hasn't reviewed once.
These guys don't review them. They're not in theaters for other than like exclusive, like kind of like small things or film festivals.
The word of mouth was so overwhelming. They got on the fucking big screen. No thanks to this fuck.
Holy fuck! Please review, Fast and Furious 25 again, Chris Stuckmann. But you miss out on something like Eileen, which is a really good movie. It was really good. I'm like, holy shit, filmmaking's there. It's here. Just people are missing out on it. And this fucker doesn't touch it. Maybe he did touch it. I don't know. But definitely Jeremy Jahns did not touch that movie. It's like they're asking like, when? Wow, what happened to movies? Like, you fucking losers, bro. You fucking idiots. Here we go.
And
It
it
fucking
does
bothered me
good
so
for
much.
no
man.
one. So what are my solutions for this? It's the same solution I've said for a couple years now, because I've started to make more discussion-based
Please tell me the
videos about
solutions.
industry and how we can communicate with them and get better.
Bro, this dude's doing retroactive reviews of old, like, super popular movies. Here's my review for Back to the Future. It's like, what? That's what you go back and find?
Yeah.
We all know about Back to the Future. We all know that fucking movie. You're not finding like movies that maybe you missed out on, that you found somehow from a word of mouth, from a friend or something. Towards like, man, I haven't seen this movie, and I went and watched it. Instead, he's re-reviewing The Fugitive. Like, okay, we've all seen The fucking Fugitive, man. Like, come on, and look, he has to be lying to me, right, or something. There's no way this is like, how'd you? It's so simple logic. It's simple. Find filmmakers who aren't owned by studios, who are making something that you think is creative. Go find them and boost them up, bro. But instead, you're out here complaining to fans. You're telling fans, like, hey, fans, leave these filmmakers alone. Guys who fucking capitulate to fucking studios like this. Who sell their fucking scripts for the fucking studios and let it get rearranged. You want us to feel bad for these motherfuckers? Like, I do feel bad for them. But at the same time, it's like, you're telling your massive audience to fucking look at these guys. Look who made Madam Web. You should feel bad for them. Instead of the indie creator that you're not even fucking covering, who made some like brilliant work of art with low budget, no named actors, who may or may not be talented. There's a lot of talented people who make smaller movies. But whatever. You ignore these fools for the sake of telling you, like, hey guys, don't badmouth Madam Web because there's writers behind it. And so are there's studios there too, you idiot. You just said it yourself. God, man, come on. Here we go. Fucking goddamn it.
And start to
I knew I had
enjoy
to record
the
this,
theater-going
Anthony. I knew I had
experience
to.
more, and not just
I'm
hope
freaking
that a great
out.
film like Godzilla -1 comes out of Japan, so that we can enjoy that here. And it's the same thing I've always
Average
said. They
it.
hear
It's okay,
us
movie.
through our wallets. If a movie comes out that is genuinely great, and we happen to see it in a theater, that's fantastic. But then buy it to own on digital, or buy the Blu-ray of it. Let them know, like, this is more like it. And that's what we're getting with Oppenheimer. It's what we're getting
Did
with
you
Barbie.
hear
You
this
see a movie
dipshit
where it's like,
solution?
okay, that
What?
Give the studio more money.
Oh.
That's the solution. Don't stand up to the studio. Just let the shit movies happen. And then when there's a good movie that comes out, overbuy it. That's how they'll know.
Buy an obsolete medium to watch these movies. Buy a DVD
Literally,
or a Blu-ray.
trickle down movies.
Unfucking real, bro.
This guy is ridiculous, bro.
See how, like, if you just have a semblance of a critical mind, like, you just see through this fucking bullshit we're hearing right now. Like, my God, what did he say? Go buy more of their like, hey,
Yeah,
you see something you
buy
like?
more.
Go buy more of it.
Buy more of it. Buy and collect. Take. Like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
This is incredible.
Do you think I want to have a little vase behind me like you do, motherfucker, with all these films and shit? It's 2024, bro. What are you talking about?
Honestly, with that point, I mean, he probably would have had more impact just calling a shitty movie shitty than he would have.
He would.
Like just trying to boost up, quote unquote, good movies. Even though he boosts all of them up, he does. He can say he doesn't like it very much, but you know what? Go watch it yourself. Here's where you can find it. Go watch this movie. It's like, I get the attitude of just why like we need more and more film, but my God, call shit, man. God, it's hitting from both sides. I'm seeing what you're saying, Anthony. And I'm looking at the other side of it, and it's still falling very short of like what an actual like understandable answer should be, in my opinion, of what it should be. Like just on an economic side, bro. Like let's boost it. Like yeah. Dark Knight has sold a shit ton of ticket sales and DVDs and Blu-rays and all that
Nobody's
shit.
making that film though.
Where's the dark? Are there any more Dark Knights out there? Where'd they?
No.
What happened to the?
In that space of comic books, good fucking luck.
Instead, it's hey Nolan, do whatever you want, and now that guy gets to do whatever he wants and make movies, right? I'll give him. I guess I'll give Nolan props for that. He can just do whatever the fuck he wants with a movie.
He's only one man though.
But as far as us as movie fans who need more, and no offense, like I'm just saying, like for people who need more than just Christopher Nolan in film, who are like that invested in the genre and the medium itself, like we're losing. But Nolan can make whatever he wants, man. He can make Oppenheimer, make whatever the fuck he wants. He can do his thing. Dunkirk, Inception, whatever the fuck he's got to make, he can make it. But everyone else, like, here we go.
And we happen to see it in the theater. That's fantastic. But then buy it to own on digital or buy the Blu-ray of it. Let them know like this is more like it. And that's what we're getting with Oppenheimer. It's what we're getting with Barbie. When you see a movie where it's like, okay, that creator, Greta Gerwig, took an IP, Barbie, and made a completely original movie out of it, and it became the highest grossing film of the year, and it's nominated for multiple Oscars, even though she totally should have been nominated for director. They hear that. They understand.
She should have. Greta Gerwig's fucking talented. If you're an idiot, if you're a lame brain, and it's kind of a side note, I'm just saying, like people who shit on Barbie, I'm like, bro, someone did something creative and took a risk doing it as well. Like, shut the fuck up and applaud it. Like that shit's actually interesting and well made. Now you don't have to. I mean, you don't have to like it. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying. Like, if you're tired of fucking Madam Webs, then Barbie should be welcomed. At least, at the very least, of your bottom floor of films. You should want that to be the worst film you've seen, as opposed to now it is one of the best that's out there. But whatever. Side note.
And all right, so IP-ish, but original. Got it. And that's okay. Like, there's so many openings for filmmakers to take very original ideas into things. In an ideal, perfect industry, the filmmaker-studio relationship would be more of an understanding.
I'm so sorry to pause, but it is what it is, man. Sorry, but Barbie, there's more original ideas than someone writing a Barbie fucking movie. As much as I enjoyed the movie, or something like Oppenheimer, where it's like obviously a fucking marvel of filmmaking, sure. Not that great to me. Not the greatest thing ever. Not the greatest Nolan movie ever, obviously. But, it's not. Is it dog shit? No, it's not dog shit. Like, come on. It's still a marvel of filmmaking. But, there are original fucking story, like actually original, not using an IP from any of these fucking places. It's a straight up original idea. Maybe it's about a coming of age story of a girl or a boy of a young age. Like these stories are out there. They are there. They exist. They're not. Chris Stuckmann is not watching them. If he is watching them, we don't hear that he watched them. Which is the whole point of his channel of being a movie reviewer is, right? Like you don't. Did you need Jeremy Johns or Nerdrock to tell you that Madam Web was bad? God no. Did you need our channel? Like no, you didn't. You didn't need our channel to find out these movies were dog shit. You didn't need them. You didn't need us for that.
How dare you, Jordan?
It's shut up. It's for like. It's just to hear a perspective that they're supposed like the reviewers themselves are supposed to be like artists themselves in a way. because maybe they have an eye for something, a critical eye for something, maybe, to where maybe they saw something in a movie that they witnessed, and they're like, "Yo, there's something here. There's something worthy here," and I can't maybe I can't put it into words, but there's something here. Go check it out. Instead, we're doing that with Fast and Furious 25, and it's like, that's it. You're missing out on these other. Whatever. Play. I'm hitting play. There you go.
Loving
I
relationship.
fucking hate this.
But the
They're trying to make
problem
me
right
hate
now
movies
is
like
that
I hate
so
politics.
many studio executives, people who are making the decisions, did not come.
No more
from a
lame brain
place of
political arguments
creativity.
from the
They were
audience anymore.
potentially managers,
Tired
or
of it.
agents, or people outside
Tired
of
of
the
destroying
creative
you
space in
fools.
Hollywood who work their way into a place where they're now telling creatives what to do. That's not the case for all of them, but it is the case for many of them. And they don't have ideas. They just
Most
have
of
like inklings of what the market might want. What's selling big? What's not selling big? Well, we need to.
And the argument is, if they don't do it, they'll replace them with someone else. But guess what? Will we stand back? That gives you room to say, like, hey, this guy's not that. He's not that dude. Or that's not that chick. Those aren't the superior creators. The superior creators got fired, and they're over here on the side somewhere. Let's go follow what they do now. Let's boost them up. Hey, guys, check out an interview with me and this new this artist that is credible, that was going to be a big Hollywood studio fucking person, but they said no to preserve their art. Let's give them some shine. Instead, he's interviewing the guy from Argyle? That dog shit movie? Like this terrible fucking movie? The guy from Argyle? Are you kidding me? Golly, man. I could rant on this fool forever. I'll just hit play to end the video because I've got most of my frustrations out. So.
Because that movie sold really big. People are looking for this. Our Netflix algorithm is suggesting that we need to make a movie about kung fu pirates.
I'm releasing this immediately. As soon as we're done hitting record, I'm fucking cutting this and I'm reviewing it. I'm releasing it.
I swear to you, it's not. It's not.
I'm so fucking frustrated by
this.
this.
People have been put in positions of power.
Golly.
Who want to be creative, but aren't creative.
I'm gonna play the other dude while I'm doing
position
that.
where they now have to tell creatives what to do.
Not gonna review the
That's
other
why
guy,
you're
but
seeing a
I'm
lot
just gonna
of
play
these
it.
things that you're seeing in film. lately.
The
And the
dude you
hopes
told
are
me about, the
more
dude that did
filmmakers
videos
are
with
able
him.
to break through with like an indie film. Look at Nolan. He was able to kind of prove himself.
John Flick,
He took
John
those
Flickinger.
steps.
Well,
You know what I
actually,
mean? In the case of a lot of these
Just let it
filmmakers
play
who
while I
make their first movie as a giant
export.
studio film, the studio does not look at that filmmaker as if they are an equal. They look at them as if they're someone they can filmmakers are able to break through with like an indie film. Look at Nolan. He was able to kind of prove himself. He took those steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the case of a lot of these filmmakers who make their first movie as a giant studio film, the studio does not look at that filmmaker as if they are an equal. They look at them as if they're someone they can boss around and tell them what to do because they're paying the bills. And what have you done exactly? And that's a lot of what
That's a good point, but yes, that does happen. You're right. You're right, Chris Stuckmann. Go ahead.
And then you accept the dog shit they make and
You accept it, and then you're like, well, you can't blame the artist. Well, who made the movie? Well, the studios made it. So it's a bad movie. I'm not saying it's bad because there's certain writers that it's their first time making a movie. But you said it was made by the studio. Yeah, I don't like the studios. So you like the movie? I don't like the movie. Oh, I mean, I do like the movie. Just, but I like the movie to support the artist. But the artist didn't make it. I have an interview with Chris Nolan coming up next week that you should check out. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna that's what. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. He's saying these guys are first time creators, right? And they're getting these giant budget movies off rip. Right? He's saying that.
Yeah.
And it's like, why does that automatically mean I have to support them? Why didn't they pay the fucking tolls that fucking Chris Nolan paid? Or Aronofsky paid? Not everyone can be the Wachowskis and just come out with the fucking Matrix, right? Sometimes, like, Nolan had to make Following or Memento. Right? Aronofsky had to make Pi. or the wrestler, or all these things leading up to something like a Black Swan or bigger. Or leading up to the Dark Knight for Nolan, or the Batman series in general. They paid the dues to get but those guys, the names I just listed right there, Wachowski, Aronofsky, Nolan, those guys get to do whatever the fuck they want. The Matrix 4, I know people hated it, but guess what? That was a protest movie, and they were allowed to do it the way they wanted to. They did exactly what the fuck they wanted to do. They said, fuck you, Warner Brothers, and guess what? We're going to tell you fuck you in our fucking movie. We're going to use your movie studio to say fuck you. And they did it. But no one gave them credit for that shit. They're like, oh, look at these lame brain. Another fucking remake of another old fucking franchise. Like, they didn't really do that. They were kind of mocking that idea of using old franchises to try to pop it off as something new. They were mocking that, but I guess fans didn't get that or something. I don't know, but
They didn't
whatever.
get the first films. They didn't get the first films.
Well, yeah, but it shouldn't. Guess what? Maybe this is them paying their dues, Chris Stuckmann. This is a new way of making film. Instead of starting in the indie circuit, to where you make a small movie and prove your worth as a writer or a director, to where get to showcase something without a fucking budget. Make something pop off without a fucking budget. If you don't have to go through those steps anymore, well, guess what? Shouldn't they be judged on that scale anyways? Or is that a bad thing? We can't do that. We have to sit here and watch them get bullied by studios as far as your narrative goes. Sit here and watch them get bullied and accept it. Is that what you're telling me I'm supposed to be doing, Chris Stuckmann? Is just say, just accept they're being bullied by studios. And then what? Monkey clap at the fucking screen? Sit there and clap at it? Or call it what it is? Holy shit, man. We were just talking about this with women's sports. With this girl, this Caitlin Clark chick playing basketball. It's like, oh, she can shoot her ass off. Like, she's a legit shooter. But her dribbling? Nah. Her passing? Nah. She needs to work on that shit.
Her decision making, too.
Now, should I shut the fuck up and just be like, no, Caitlin, you're the greatest dribbler ever. You're so good. Will you invite me to the next game? Will you give me front row tickets to your next game? I'll shut up about this.
I see what you did.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. It is what it is, man. It's... What does Stuckmann expect me to do with what he's telling me? What does he want me to say here? Hey, man, feel bad that it's their first time making a movie. It's their first time making a movie and you got a fucking Spider-Man property for Sony? God damn. Chris Nolan at 21 years old is like, oh, you got what? Holy shit. And he's one of the best filmmakers ever. And he'd be freaking out. You got that for your first fucking job? Jesus fucking Christ.
What dick did you suck?
Well, here's the thing: they don't got to do the dick sucking here. It's straight up about well, you're no name. We don't have to pay you anything.
No.
We could pay you peanuts to do something that just to get the same result, which is where the fans come in. Maybe not the result that Nolan's going to get, right? Nolan's name is going to pull in $1 billion because it's Christopher Nolan, right? But if it's like a midline guy. Yeah, please pull in the same numbers as Ron Howard or something. He's Ron Howard's kind of up there, but think of a lesser, like a mid-range guy, right? You hit 300, but not 330.
Josh Whedon.
Good, exactly. Joss Whedon. Come in here and do what Joss Whedon would have did. Not as good because Joss Whedon's fucking seasoned. It's not going to be as good, but maybe you pull in the numbers as far as seats and asses that he does. Maybe close enough to where we'll forgive how bad the movie is. And you know what? If it's a hit, we'll sign another contract for peanuts again, but it'll be a little bit more peanuts. But it's like, dude, it's working like sports. It's like Journeyman, bro. Come in here and knock someone out. If you get knocked out, guess what? That's entertaining too.
Yeah.
Your movie sucked ass. Guess what? All the reviewers on YouTube, they're using our properties. They're talking about it. They're getting their dipshit fans to go watch it in theaters and tell us how bad the fucking movie is. But guess what? Asses are in seats. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's a big giant conspiracy. Maybe it's a big club and we ain't in it, man. If you know what I'm talking about, please put that in the comment section. No one will make it this far into the video. This is just a full-blown rant unraveling of me. But all right, here we go.
We're seeing now. So pay for movies that are good. Keep paying for movies that are good. That's
It's about money again.
That we can turn the dial to where it needs to be. Guys, thank you.
Please spend money on movies that you think are good in order to turn the dial and change the wins and make the actual legit winners win, because you're only supporting good movies. It's like, well, I mean, a guy who's top 5 is going to include Indiana Jones. I don't trust you with any type of movie, but that's just me personally. You know, I won't go there. But that as a solution, make sure you double down, like you were saying. Let's double down with Warner Brothers on this movie, but not this movie. In which case, it evens out kind of financially for Warner Brothers, and they'll still be hounding down the necks of fucking writers and directors, of young, impressionable, fucking youthful fucking writers and directors who are doing their first fucking movie under the umbrella of Warner Brothers. Like, it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Support great art. For me, my counter to that, support great art wherever you find it. If it's a guy telling a story on the fucking street corner, support that motherfucker, man. How about that? And I don't mean fucking money either. I don't mean money. Carry the story with you to where now it has reverence. That's what we need. We need reverence in writing, like care about the writing of it, rather than just watching something to watch it like suck ass or whatever the case may be. A lot of it is suck ass. Like Madam Web became a thing because it sucked, because it's an all female cast or whatever, and it sucked ass, and that's now a thing. God. Honestly, I don't know the solution to all of this. To me, I just always define art as someone expressing something meaningfully. Like they actually mean what they're expressing. And the only falter is them fucking up their vision of, like, they want to express this, but when they drew the picture, it didn't come out the exact way they wanted it to. Those are only things that are fuck ups to me in regards to that type of expression. Otherwise, if it's some studio head shit, the thing is not art in the first place. It doesn't qualify. And we've seen plenty of those. Have we not seen plenty of artists, quote unquote, not even artists, sorry, plenty of actors, right? Trying to like squeeze some money out of a low budget sci-fi channel looking fucking movie where with a dumb script. They just plaster their fucking faces on the cover of it and say, look, former ex-Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr. is in this movie. Does that make it good? No, it doesn't. They know that doesn't make it good. But, you know, it's a selling point. And guess what? Cuba Gooding Jr. is willing to lend his name for that selling point. He knows what they're doing, bro. He's been around the fucking block. He knows. It's like, bro, don't lie to me. Like, bullshit. Stop fucking lying to me. And Chris Stuckmann's idea of, God, he doesn't even, like, once again, he doesn't review movie, in my opinion. He reviews, like, maybe blockbusters or something like that. Unless it's anime. I guess anime, he finds underground shit or something. But, like, straight up, I wonder if he has, like, a fucking Vosh. Like,
oh, boy.
He has a Vosh porn stash or something. But
crazy.
This guy doesn't. I hope he's genuine, man. I'll say that. I hope he's genuine. I hope the guy's genuine. I could see him. I could see possibly He's actually in it to make sure like these are like maybe he knows them personally. He hopes these artists get paid and looked after and like, hey man, it's not their fault. They were trying to write the script, but the studio was just like, nah, bro, put a Pepsi can here instead. Instead of that major emotional scene you had here, just put a Pepsi can there instead. Just, yeah, sure, maybe that can happen. I'm sure it can happen. But at the same time, where's the fucking cajon? Where's the cojones? Where are they, man? Where's the starving artist who said, fuck you, I will not sacrifice any of my expressions for the sake of your fucking paycheck. Fuck you. And guess what? Chris Stuckman, you reviewing these movies and you trying to not look at them as bad because of support the artist is you sacrificing your point of view for the sake of what? The fans? The studio? The artists? It's all the same at this point when you go about it this way. So guess what? You're one of these fuckfaces I'm talking about. You're sacrificing your own expression for the sake of some sort of higher power. And I don't even think he knows whether it's the artist or the studio or the fans. Hey fans, I need you to go support cinema. So I will purposely not tell you how bad this movie is for the sake of supporting cinema, which is you sacrificing your fucking fans. Golly, man. Get this fucking fool out of here, man. So trash, man. I wish I could have a discussion with Chris Stuckman. I treat him fairly. But he needs to hear some harsh shit, bro. He needs to hear and feel some harsh shit, man. I need him to be a 20 fucking viewer per review guy to see like, hey man, you're saying some shit and no one's listening. So what else do you have? Oh, your honest opinion? That's all you can say at that point. Because you can't tailor it for fucking views. You can't tailor it for like, hey man, I'll use my my channel as a concubine for the artist who are using their vision as a concubine for fucking Pepsi or whatever studio. Like, you won't get away with that at that point. And the track he's on, man, he might get wrecked, man. He might actually get wrecked. I'm sure people will be like, man, but Chris is a nice man, so I'm gonna support Stuckman and go watch his videos. Or he might becoming a laughing stock, man. I think you can do so much more. But you know, idiots are idiots. It is what it is. Any closing statements, Anthony?
Think for yourself.
Please, God, think for yourself. An hour and a half of ranting. There you go. Work harder, Chris Stuckman. And yeah, we had to talk about this too.